Hallelujah. Thank you, Sky. One of my favorite Leonard Cohen songs. So we're very fortunate today, hallelujah, to have a guest speaker. Kathryn McDowell is the founding minister at the East Valley Center for Spiritual Living in Phoenix. And she's experienced in all facets of ministerial happenings, with officiant as weddings, guest speaker, as she is today. And she leads congregations with the notion of teaching, education, renewal, and deepening. So today, she's going to take us into a more conscious relationship with our emotions as part of this month's theme. So let's give it up for Reverend Kathryn.
Thank you, thank you. Oh, I speak. That's nice. Good morning, everyone. I'm so appreciative of the wonderful service that this has been so far. I'm content. Are you content? Would you guys put this worldwide? This is just too good. Too many pieces. Worldwide as we go. No, it's just wonderful to have the depth for each of us. A lot of times I've gone to church and I found out about the offering, and I found out about the great singer, and then I found out about a workshop, and nobody prayed. It's a very strange feeling to be in that atmosphere. But for you got it all. So I'm very happy about that. I brought a little prayer myself. Some of you received this booklet today. If you didn't, there's plenty of them out there for you to receive it. It's a process that I experienced in a workshop that I was attending. And they did the blessing of the soul, blessing of the essence, blessing of the moment in the ways of the, I'll read it to you a little bit. I don't read as well as I used to, so you don't get to hear all of it today. But they use the different directions of the world. So east, the south, the north, and so on. And each one of them is a different dimension of ourself. And so I encourage you to try that out for yourself. Facing the different directions. How many of you faced the different directions so far this week, anytime, deliberately, consciously? Yeah. There's a lot of times we felt like we didn't want to face something. Yes, someone said yes. There's a lot of things I have not wanted to face in my life, and I usually did, and there was always a blessing there. There was always a blessing there. And so having that in our church atmosphere is one of the greatest things that we can give to ourselves and to all the people that we're involved with. Sometimes we have the prayer time and people don't want to speak it out loud. Go ahead and speak it. Someone will hear your voice in a way that they never heard that information before. And you have given them a gift by hearing, as they have given you a gift by speaking it. How many of you have done that? Nobody's done that. We need a workshop. When all else fails, do a workshop. Thank you. It's a wonderful life. I have been in the ministry, I think, 36 years. And I've done a lot of church. I've done a lot of workshops. I worked in the headquarters for 6 years. I've been kind of sliding on the edge, not doing a lot of everything sometimes. But what I know is the work that I do within myself is my ministry. The fact that I show up someplace and I talk or teach a class, as I've said, that's beneficial to a lot of people. But if I'm not doing the work myself, I can't possibly give it to anyone else. And so I offer you that this morning, asking yourself, am I doing the work? How many of you think you're doing the work? All right. What does the work look like? Looks like doing my prayers, looks like doing my treatment work, looks like taking my classes, all of that. It also looks like forgiving your great-grandmother for the time that she didn't come to your thing at school. It is also forgiving yourself for the anger you had with your last lover. The work that we do is constant. It's it's everywhere present in our lives. And that's why I like this about the work of the in and the out and the north and the south and the pieces of us, that we forget our part of our movement every day. We forget that our time is constant. It's in the voice, it's in the eyes, it's in how we shake hands with people at the grocery store. The work never stops for us. I'd like to read you something. Excuse me. It's from the textbook, I believe. And it says, "Stay with the one and never deviate from it. Never leave it for a moment. Nothing else can equal this attitude. To desert the truth in the hour of need is..." What am I doing? What do I need to prove here? I would do it that way, maybe. Oh, here comes...
I don't know about you, but the cut in and out is starting to get to me.
Yeah.
So let's do this.
I can talk loud if you want to take it off.
Is your cell phone on?
It's down there, turned off.
Then that's not. We're going to do a little switcheroo.
Okay.
Do you mind having me use one hand?
No.
Okay.
Can I sneeze first?
Hey, sneeze away.
Thank you. Or cough. How about this? Oh yeah, let's do that. I'm going to start over. Stay with the one and never deviate from it. Never leave it for a moment. Nothing else can equal this attitude. To desert the truth in the hour of need is to prove that we do not know the truth. When things look the worst, that is the supreme moment to demonstrate to ourselves that there are no obstructions to the operation of truth. And when things look the worst is the best time to work. When things look the worst is the best time to work. The most satisfying time. Those who can throw themselves with complete abandon into that limitless sea of receptivity, having cut loose from all apparent moorings, are the ones who will always receive the greatest reward. Can we tear ourselves apart from all those things that we think are blocking us, that are not allowing us to be the magnificence that we came here to be? For us to move out of the darkness that we have put ourselves in, through our own guilt, through our own fears, through our own complaints. Anybody have a complaint? I got a couple of them. You want to hear them? No. Each of us has a complaint. Are we willing to let go of those to be the magnificence of spirit that we were coming here to be? A lot of us can't believe that we could possibly ever be the magnificence of spirit. We're not connected with it after all. You know that, don't you? You have nothing to do with God. God has nothing to do with you. We're just bumping around here in this life trying to make it work. Someone thinks that's true. There are days it feels like that, aren't there? And yet, the whole thing about science of mind is being the magnificence, being the infinite nature of spirit, being that which is pure spirit. And there's a secret. Anybody know the secret? If you know the secret, raise your hand. Oh, we don't know too many secrets here. Okay. Well, I'm going to tell. I was the next to the youngest of 9, and so I always got to tell the stories on Johnny was in the swimming pool. Johnny did this. Aaron did that. Patsy did such and such. So now I'm going to tell you what you did. You want to know? Yeah. You gave up on yourself. Because the whole nature of science of mind and teaching is that we are a demonstration of the divine. We are. Just as I'm walking, just as I'm talking, the clothing that we choose to wear, the car that we buy, the people that we hang around with, those are choices that we are making. And they are all a representation of spirit in us as us. Oh, good. Then I just finally decided that that's why I'm such a bad person, because I have horrible friends and I didn't buy the right this and that. Nah, we're not any of that. We're not the difficulty. We're not the turnaround to the other side. We're not the ones of you'll never figure this out in a million years, so just give up. We're not that. We are not that. Holmes talks constantly about the directions that we are involved in, about the work that we do, about the interests that we are involved in, of being in our own consciousness, in our own belief systems, that we are as worthy of the ownership of spirit as a man named Jesus was. Ouch. It's hard for us to do that because of the way we've been raised as human beings who are really divine beings. Oh, great. Now what do I have to do? She's going to tell me something I need to do, and I have to try to be that this week. And I know I'm going to mess it up really bad. I know my brother will definitely tell me and everyone else how badly I've done that. Isn't that how our life seems to work as a human being? What changes is when we change. What changes is when we realize that we are an infinite nature of spirit. Excuse me. Spirit has a sore throat sometimes too. And so we celebrate all of that. How many of you absolutely know that you're pure spirit? Pure spirit. Not maybe someday, or I did okay last week. You know. It's hard to know that about ourselves, isn't it? It is very difficult for our little human species to understand what that's about. Let me share another Holmes quoting for you. There we go. Too many pieces of paper, that's what it is. All right. How many of you know about the 4 introductory chapters of the textbook? How many of you know about the textbook? The 4 introductory chapters, we start every new year with them. The thing itself, the way it works, what it does, and how to use it. Okay, I'm leaving now because I just told them everything they needed to hear. The thing itself, the way it works, what it does, and how to use it. 4 very, very, very short chapters in the beginning of the textbook. How many of you are going to go home and read yours? Yeah. Well, that didn't work. Help, help. And therein lies the other part of the teaching of science of mind. And that is, we all find it in our own time and in our own way. That infinite nature that we are. We find it. Sometimes we're very surprised when we do. Sometimes we realize we need to work a little bit harder on it to make it more expressive and really looks like us. Even though the book is that thick, the 4 chapters are that thick. So you have an assignment. Yeah, go home, read the textbook. First 4 chapters. Every day. Once a week. Or a month. Or on your birthday. Or when you don't know what else to do. Because when you go to see a practitioner or a minister for some counseling, for some support, those are the 4 things you're going to hear, one way or another. One way or another. Each of us are working constantly in becoming the essence of spirit that we understand. And sometimes we understand it differently. And sometimes we think it should look this way, so we're going to play it this way this week. But the constant activity is, what is this spirit thing that we're looking at? It's everywhere, you know that. It's bigger than any of us, you know that. It's constantly present. Well, it wasn't last week when I had a fight with my husband. It was his fault anyway, so I'm okay. I can get by with that one. How do we work through this? How do we learn to know that we are the infinite nature? And that whatever we need to do, is already built within us. And that works when we know it every day for ourselves. You see, we don't have to tell everyone else how much better we are today than we were last week. We need to tell ourselves that. And in the process of learning it about ourselves, in the process of understanding the communication between us and the divine, excuse me, complete with a scratchy throat, the more we understand that, the more we begin to see it in others as well. The very first thing that we need to do when we're angry or confused or frightened by or about someone is to say, this too is God. This too is God, because God is simply all there is. It's all there is. All there is. Everybody say that. All there is, including me. Whoa. I was worried there. That's it. We can go now. It's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful thing. It's great to understand that even though I don't understand what Jane just did, what George is going to do, why Amy isn't doing that, how come that group did this, I don't understand a lot of things. But I understand that it's the activity of the infinite nature. We can call it God, we can call it Fred, it doesn't matter. It's us knowing it, feeling it, living with it, building it inside of us so that there's no way that I can look at anyone or anything else and not see that one beautiful nature. My brother would tell me that I'm making things up. And I must live in a great world if that's what I'm thinking about. But I'm wrong. And so that I go back to my work and to thinking about it again for myself. We can work towards all those things. We can decide that we want more money. We can decide we want better clothes. We can decide we want a different partner. We can decide we want another house. That is exactly the same thing. How many times have you decided you wanted something and you could give yourself at least 10 reasons why you could not have it? The first one is usually, I don't have enough money. Oh, nobody ever said that one. Okay, got it. I need enough money. Oh, I don't think I need to do that right now, today. My brother never got that. Why should I get it? What if they want to, and all of those other what ifs and how comes, and this is going to happen. We set up those barriers for ourselves. That's why we fight them. That's why we go through them. Instead of stopping again and saying, the infinite nature of God is all there is. All there is. And it's in me now. It's always been there. So I don't understand what that means. But I know I want to. I know that I want to stand in the strength of spirit. I know that I want to stand in that place of understanding and where I can take that and build it for myself and for all people around me. That I can know that Jane is healthy and whole, whatever the description may be of her condition or the commercial of the day. We have a lot of commercials of the day, don't we? Yum, yum, yum. Anybody sick of commercials of the day? No, no. Anybody sick of believing the commercials of the day? Yeah. So many things, and we don't have to build things. We don't have to create things. We need to let go of the stuff that gets in our way. It's kind of like, when your boots are filled with water and you're walking and there's slush, 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 slush. How many years can we go through that feeling of, I never had anything good. Even my shoes don't like me. Slush, 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 slush. You know exactly what I'm talking about. All right. I would like for each one of you, I'm not going to ask you to do it, but I'm going to ask you to make a decision to do this. Make a decision of something that you are ready not to get rid of, not to beat up, not for someone to save you from, but something that you are willing to see differently so that you experience it differently. It might be the doctor's report. It might be the TV that hasn't been working. I got one of those. It might be, your pet that has been not well for some time. Whatever it is that you are ready to let go of and to acknowledge that whatever that is the nature of God. Anybody ready for that? Anybody scared to death? Oh, man. Oh, man. You mean I have to address that issue? Oh, my God, what will I do? They're going to bite me. I know what's going to happen. I'm in so much trouble. You don't have to take 12 classes. You don't have to give, well, yeah, you do need to give some money to the church, but you give money everywhere you go. Just do it. But every single aspect of our lives that we believe needs attention, it does. It needs our attention. It needs our attention. All right. Have any of you had a really dynamic, fantastic switch over on something simply because you said, I'll see it differently? Raise your hand. Oh, 2 minutes to talk about it. We'll have to have a class so you can tell what you've released already. That's part of the deal too. All right. The work isn't about science of mind. It isn't about a man named Ernest Holmes. It isn't about our favorite author of some other name. The work is about us. It's about each one of us saying, I think I'm ready to change me instead of the world. I think I'm ready to give consideration to what is working rather than complaining about what doesn't work. Kathryn, sorry about that. She needed a little help today. How do we do that? Everybody close your eyes for a minute. Take a nice deep breath and release it as you choose. Big, small, quiet, heavy, doesn't matter. Just breathe for a moment and bring into your consciousness something that you would really, really, really like to have. Be better, be different. And you know what? It doesn't even need to change. Now, how's that possible? If something doesn't change, how can it be better? Because you changed about it. Kind of make a little note in your mind or your heart as to what you want to do with that in this next week or month or however you handle your do-its. And let's take a moment and acknowledge that whatever it is, wherever it came from, whoever it is attached to, it's spirit. It just is. We're not making it spirit. We're not making it better. We're just looking at it as the goodness that it truly is. We are giving our wholeness, our heart, our thinking, our light, our vision to the magnificence that it is. And letting it be just exactly that way rather than all the things that we've decided it is. Which is never anything good, right? Breathe for just a moment into that space of that person, that situation, that desire. And in the process of breathing into that, say to yourself whatever word you use for God, whether it's Spirit, Henry, whatever it is, Jane. Maybe God's name is Jane, you never know. Just acknowledge that and open to feel it and receive it for the goodness and the joy that it is. And so now it's part of you as it's part of that which you would like to have changed. And we celebrate and love the goodness of spirit. That's all we do here. We give thanks for it. We bless it. We stand open to it. And we let it be what it is. So I'm going to say a couple of things and invite you to repeat after me on them. I am the nature of God. Everything I do, everything I am, everything I desire is the nature of God. As are all beings that I know. All activities I'm engaged in. And so it is. And so we hold that within ourselves. And we allow that to be a growing change within each one of us, to the point that our minds change, our attitudes change, as well as all the people around us. Welcome to the world of living science of mind. That's who we are, it's who they are. It's what we came to be. You ready to do that? If you're really ready, say with me, and so it is. Very good.